So welcome to Unleashed Learning TV, the place that helps you boost student engagement and unlock consistent and effective teaching. And today's episode is a little bit of a table turner here in the fact that Daniela Falecki is here from Teacher Wellbeing, and she's actually going to be interviewing me because we talk all the time about the connection between well-being and effective teaching and learning. And she had questions for me. So I'm going to pass it over to you, my friend.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm on the spot.
I know, always a pleasure. Because as we know, as ex-teachers, both of us, we come together and there's always something to talk about. Yeah. I won't say whinge, I'll say talk. So as I'm a specialist in wellbeing, you're a specialist in learning. Yeah. And so I suppose the first question to ask is to explore what is the actual link between learning with well-being or well-being with learning?
Sure. So the way that I look at this, that we talk about Unleashed Learning, is that who the teacher is matters. Yep. And so part of our Unleashed Learning system is there's a key in there about the teacher. So my doctoral work shows that, researchers show that, thought leaders show that. But if you just ask people about their favorite teacher, what they usually will talk about is who the teacher was, not the content that they taught, right? Yep. But the other thing about the well-being piece is we teach who we are. And so any way that we can invest and understand who we are, and I don't mean just like, oh, I need to go get a massage or take some time out. I'm talking about really know who I am. That shapes and influences our pedagogical practices.
Because one of your keys is the teacher. That's the teacher matters and how we reflect. And one of the things that I often do, and we explore with teachers in workshops, is we are often our greatest critic. And so what are some of the questions or some of the things that teachers could do to actually better be more aware of their own self in their own practice?
Sure. So there's three things that I think are really critical to what we have to know about ourselves. So the first thing that we've got to know about ourselves, or what I talk about, is our identity. So I'm specifically talking about my race and my gender and my sexual orientation, my languages, and all those identities that I may not be thinking about on a daily basis because they influence and impact my pedagogical practices. And we're working with very diverse populations, fortunately. So that is really critical to self-awareness. The other part that's really key to self-awareness is, this is the question I would ask, is am I congruent? So congruency to me means, am I living the life that I want to be living? Because the problem with our job, which we were talking about earlier, and I talked about the flashlight analogy, is we're giving all day long. And we can very quickly lose who we are in that. And I've been in classrooms when I know the teacher wants to be there because you can just feel it. It doesn't mean every day, because there's some days,
absolutely.
But I also know when I'm in a room, when the chapter is ended. And if the chapter is ended and the chapter's ended, it's time to make a change because we can do damage.
Absolutely.
And the last piece that I think we really need to know is we have to be connected to our own why. And that why is really the fuel, not the school's why, not the state why, not the state, but it's our why. And when we're connected to that, we've got tools to unleash learning in ways that can last a lifetime for kids.
Yeah, absolutely. And I suppose it comes back to that whole helping teachers prioritize time for themselves, giving teachers opportunity to actually include the human component. We're very good at curriculum, we're very good at knowledge, we're very good at scope and sequencing and assessing and reporting, but we forget that human quality as well, don't we?
Well, can I say, and I mean this gently, this is for me, that stuff's safer. It's harder to be a student of myself as much as it's easier to stay outside. It's harder to go, ooh, what's going on, or where am I in this, or what is the voices, and this sounds like I'm going crazy here, but what's the voices telling me right now? But I mean,
and that's the awareness piece, isn't it?
That's right.
Where am I right now? And how can we encourage young people to be aware if we're not aware ourselves? And we get so concerned and consumed in conforming and complying that we forget the creative, innovative component as well. So I know also that you specialise with beginning teachers and do some incredible work in terms of induction programs. I know that when I was a beginning teacher, they didn't exist at all. It was sink or swim. So what's some of the simple tips that you might have for beginning teachers?
The two things I would tell new teachers, if you're a new teacher watching this, is you need a system in place. So we have our Unleashed Learning system, and then we use that with schools, but also new teachers, that system's really, really important. And I'm not trying to sell a system here, but what I'm saying is if you've got a system in place, you know where to put your energy. And if you're a new teacher, what happens is you're all over the map, which is because you're new to it. But if you know, like almost like a compass, our system is a compass. So you kind of have a sense of where to put your time and energy that lowers your stress levels.
And it really does help you manage your energy, not your time. And a lot of young teachers, and certainly experienced teachers as well, think it's all about time management. And I've got to work harder, and we go into that self-blame mode. But what we know from the research and we know from experience is actually manage your energy, not your time.
Well, you
and
also
this
need,
system helps.
Yeah, and one of the keys in the Emily learning system is the key of plan.
Yeah.
So we show teachers, everybody, but where to put your energy when you're planning, but also the plan to use, which lowers your stress levels. The second thing that new teachers need is they need a support team. They need what I call a success team. So you need a success team where there is a tribe that you can turn to that's bringing out the best in who you are, because it can be really isolating in the profession. So you need a team that wants the best from you, you can turn to and get ideas, advice from, and they may not be at your school. So, and that success team can last a lifetime. So the reason I'm in Sydney, Australia, is because my success team told me to go to a conference. I went to the conference, was presenting the dean with I was invited to move to Australia. So that success team can do wonders.
And that's that whole thing of helping us counteract that self-critic by actually having conversations with other people, which also, as we know, builds collective efficacy, which is the number one impact on student performance and academic achievement as well. So it's hitting that well-being and learning. As we know, it's always that intertwined as opposed to well-being or learning. It's well-being and learning. So how can people find out more, or where can they find out more information about this amazing system?
Yeah, so you can go to unleash-learning.com. There is a free ebook that you can grab with the Ultimate Classroom Setup Guide, and that's a great tool for new teachers too. If you're set up your classroom, grab that, because that system we're talking about is there, and so you can get more information about programs and what we do. And just one thing I want to throw out too is, one of my favorite quotes in our profession is from Maxine Green, and she says that only a teacher in search of his or her own freedom can inspire students to search for their own freedom. And so we just are modeling this.
Yes.
Like, who am I in this? And it's beyond standards, it's beyond the test, it's who am I in this?
And who you are matters, and teachers matter. Absolutely.
And that's why we're so important to the system, really. So,
well, thank you.
Thank you.
It's been really fun turning the tables there.
I know. Well, that was okay. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Okay, so we've got a question for you, and as always, the question is this: Danielle and I want to know this. What is one thing that you are doing that brings out the best in you and your well-being that you think also makes you a great teacher, that really informs teaching and learning, are the ways that you inspire teaching and learning in your classroom? So we'd love for you to jump in the comments section. Some of the best conversations take place there. You can also grab that free ebook there if you want that. So thank you for interviewing me.
Thank you.
And thank you for the work you do for the world. Remember, you matter, we matter, and we're both cheering you on. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody. Bye.